everybody, it's Romania Black, and we are on episode 23 of Word of Honor, and I'm super excited. As you can see, my moderator, Be Happy, has decked me out in some good Zhou Zishu and Wen KeXing realness, and so, I was like, I got this in the mail, and I unboxed it during the July update video, and was like, oh, this is going to get worn the first chance I get for another Word of Honor episode, and so here we are. I'm super excited about it. I'll probably wear it in other videos I record too, because it's super comfy, and it's a little big on me, but I like that. I don't like tight-fitting clothing. I'm like, no. So this is like the comfiest thing ever, but yes. So we're on episode 23. I've got some comments that have taken place between episode 18, because some people are catching up with the episodes. Kudos, glad you're watching. And episode 21, which is episode 22, just came out on Patreon as I'm recording this. But yeah, there have been a lot of comments about this concert that y'all keep wanting me to react to. And I was like, okay, this isn't just one person. This is a lot of people. And so Be Happy, the moderator, she said on Discord, she's like, hey, I just want to let you know, because she had told me back a while ago, she was like, when I reacted to the Untamed for Modao Zushi, when I was done with those reactions, there was a series of like bloopers and behind the scenes videos and just crack videos and things that the fandom had determined were must watches. And so she helped to compile, her and Reiki, I believe, Reiki helped to compile that as well, of just that compilation of videos to watch. And so Be Happy told me and said, hey, months ago, I'm going to compile you a list of things that the fandom wants you to watch that are Word of Honor related. Is that cool? And I was like, that sounds amazing. So they told me the other day, they were like, by the way, that concert's one of the things I'm compiling. It was going to be a surprise, but so those of you that are foaming at the mouth for me to react to this concert, whatever happens in it, I don't want to know. I want it to be a surprise. Do not worry. I'm going to react to it when I'm done with the series. So it's going to be part of a compilation of things that Romania reacts to. But I was like, okay, all right. So if that eases your worries, then that's going to be a thing. So there are no deleted or dubbed over lines that we have to watch for this episode. Sad days. But that doesn't deter anything, because episodes 21 and 22 didn't have it either, and they were still amazing. So I'm fine with that. But nothing is manageable. For episode 18, left a comment saying, every time you call them moon boots, I picture Ye Bai in a Juicy Couture white tracksuit. Oh my god, with white furry moon boots a la 2000s Paris Hilton, and cannot help but laugh. That is such a funny reference, and those of you that did not grow up in the early 2000s will not know, will not understand, to the extent that those of us that did, but the early 2000s were a fashion moment, especially in the US, for better or worse. But the Juicy Couture was a brand of clothing, and they were notoriously famous for these tracksuits. I always think of like the bright bubblegum pink Juicy Couture tracksuit, because it was everywhere where I lived. But yeah, a white one with the moon boots, kind of like Ugg boots, little furry lined boots, that Paris Hilton. I also think of the big furry boots that like Snooki and JWoww wore for Jersey Shore that were inescapable. So yes, it was a moment, and now I want fan art of Ye Bai and Juicy Couture tracksuits. Please give me this fan art if you know where it's at online. Please send it to me via Discord in the channel, or direct me to your own fan art if you create it after this. They also said, I don't know if anyone has told you this, but this show and novel aren't just categorized as a danmai, but also as a wuxia, or martial heroes drama. Now, this is going to come into play because back during Modao Zushi, I remember people trying to explain the cultural significance of the genre, because it was my first danmai. Modao Zushi was my very first danmai. I had no clue what I was reading. I was like, what is this? Is this a genre? And they're like, oh yes. So wuxia stories are about regular people who gain incredible power and fighting abilities through martial arts, which makes sense in this story, because it's like, oh, if you cultivate your martial arts, the martial arts world, not the cultivation world, the martial arts world, it gives you these powers. That's why the martial arts aspect is at the forefront. Wuxia is more true to life, and there aren't real ghosts or demons and magic like the Untamed or Modao Zushi, which falls into the Xianxia subgenre. Xianxia means immortal heroes, and as I understand it, blends the supernatural with Taoist philosophy and Chinese mythology. Another way of seeing it is wuxia is low fantasy, zhanxia is high fantasy. That explains so much, because at the beginning of this series, when they were talking about ghosts, I was like, oh, so it's kind of like Mo Dao Zushi and Heaven Official's Blessing, where there are legit ghosts. But no, that was just a term for the organization. And that makes sense, because Mo Dao Zushi and Heaven Official Blessing are zhanxia. They're high fantasy. So there really are ghosts and demons and things like that. Here, it's just a terminology. So all that makes sense now that we established the difference in the genres. That makes more sense. Thank you. So, yes, that makes a lot more sense. Pancake for episode 21 says, I really like... Pancake had a really long comment, but it's very worth noting, and I was, like, doing this throughout most of it, so I felt like letting you nod your head as well. Pancake says on Patreon for episode 21, I really like how Wen KeXing seems kind of baffled by the female ghosts wanting to return to the Ghost Valley. It's the same reaction he had with the two girls Zhang tried to take in. It subtly shows the disconnect between how he sees the valley and how they see it. Like, of all places, why would you want to go back to where they're when you can go anywhere? The tragicomic and alluring ghosts create this kind of strange safe haven for women who've been cast out by society. The other male ghosts are scheming and fighting by the Scorpion King's side to get out of Ghost Valley. They are described in the episode as being in the Ghost Valley because they are violent and with blood on their hands. And what did the alluring ghost do before coming here? She had an affair and got publicly humiliated. The double standard is not great. So honestly, I get why the woman wouldn't want to leave there. But I also understand why Wen KeXing is harsher this time around and tries to push them out. Everyone is watching the Ghost Valley now. Zhao and Scorpion King are out killing more people in their name. The tragic comic ghost, the one who could protect them, is out of commission. It really doesn't look good to go back right now. And I thought that was a really good comment to make, because yes, it was, I didn't talk much about it in the discussion for episode 21, but that's such a good point that I'm glad an author describes the double standard and illustrates it through this story, because yeah, you know, what I like about Word of Honor so far in comparison to some of MXTX's works, not that I don't love MXTX, because I do, but there is so much more focus on kind of women in these stories and their circumstance. Like, you have Pretty Arhat and Dupusa, and they're with the assassins, and they have a position of power, which is cool. But then you have these women that are in the Ghost Valley that are like, this is their sanctuary. This is where they're safe. Kind of like the Assassin Guild with the Scorpions. This is the only place they can survive in this world that's kind of against them. And the irony is the alluring ghost and the tragic comic ghost have allowed these women to have a safe sanctuary, whereas the lustful ghost, the happy ghost, the changing ghost, they all want out because, you know, they're not faced with the same situations in the real world that these women are. So it's kind of interesting, right? It's the double standard is there, but I do like how Wen KeXing is kind of always thinking ahead a little bit, and he's been orchestrating and planning behind the scenes a lot of these actions, and he knows now, he has kind of determined what we, the audience, have determined that, oh, the Ghost Valley is going to get targeted. I wonder if Wen KeXing knows the key is in the Ghost Valley. I suspect that he does, but whether he knows to what extent, I don't know. But he at least understands that Zhao Jing and the Scorpions are, he understands that throughout this story, the Ghost Valley gets blamed for more and more and more, and it's going to reach a tipping point where people are going to start targeting the Ghost Valley. So he's like, I don't know if I'd go back there. I don't know if it's the sanctuary that you think it is, especially now that he knows the tragic comic ghost, or I think he knows the tragic comic ghost is kind of not in a decent place. But yeah. So yeah, you know, well, he does know because Zhang has told him. So yeah. So I thought that was a really good comment to make, Pancake. So thank you for doing that. And then finally, Visa Cake for episode 21 says when their residence isn't, they talked about a Chufong, which I call you in the discussion, saying when their residence is invaded by Chufong's first, when their residence is invaded back in episode 21, Chufong's first instinct is to run and save himself, while Chancho has to engage in a losing battle, which is one of my favorite scenes in the whole episode, her and the lustful ghost. This mirrors their past when his wife was taking her anger out on Chancho and Chufong didn't intervene. I think Chufong is really trying his best, but I felt really disappointed in how he fumbled things so far with what we've seen. Meanwhile, Chancho has fully locked in to save the tragicomic ghost. To me, it seemed like Chansho was doing more for the tragic comic ghost than Chu Fong was doing for Chansho so far. And I've been a lot more forgiving of Chiu Fong. I always call him you. I've been more forgiving of you in this because he's kind of like just that dog that just kind of like keeps coming back, and you're like, yeah, fine. And I know the alluring ghost loves him, so I give him more of a pass because she genuinely does love him. But he is kind of like that guy that you look at your friend and go, you could do better. Like he literally is. But she's like, but daddy, I love him. And you're just like, ugh, fine, whatever. But, you know, in your heart, you're like, oh, girl, you could do better than him. But she just keeps going back to him. And he's not a bad person, but he does fumble the ball more than a losing team at the Super Bowl, you know? So I get it. When Chansho was first introduced in the series, she seemed so badass and femme fatale. I did not expect this trajectory for her character where she would be struggling and fighting so much in a rapidly changing world. It's easy to root for her, so I was really glad the Scorpion King spared her and the tragic comic ghost's lives. Yeah, I'm glad he did too. I also am glad he kind of saw with the tragic comic ghost, my lover might be a little shady. And it's like, yes, indeed. So yeah, I think it speaks volumes for Chansho's character that she locks in and does the right thing for the people that she cares about. And hopefully she's rubbing off on you where he does, you know, he doesn't run away next time. I was glad he came back in the episode to be with her instead of just running off and never coming back. So while I think everybody, including Guzhong's, are a little misplaced, being like, why are you with him? Why would you like him? And Chansho's like, oh, girl, you'll understand one day. And she's with Cao WeiNing, which Cao WeiNing is way better than you, Changfeng, by the way, Shofeng. I do think that hopefully the alluring ghost's actions will rub off on Shofeng and he'll, do better next time. Do better. Right? So yeah. So those comments were all really amazing and great, and I'm thankful that you all gave them. But yeah, I'm really excited about this episode. Two things before we start. One was that Pancake in the Discord in relation to episode 21 found some behind the scenes footage of Wen KeXing coming out of the Ghost Valley cave with the torn torso of the previous Ghost Chief, which luckily when I saw these images, I'd already watched episode 22 because I was like, okay, good, this isn't spoiling the confirmation that it's him, because then we see his face in episode 22. But I was like, oh, that's really gruesome. But the most gruesome part of all is not Wen KeXing looking like he has the 1,000-yard stare into nothingness, which, as Pancake said, is sad. Very sad. Or the fact that he's holding a severed torso and they just censored it because... But I think the most terrifying thing is that there are these little neandroids of him holding the torso. I was like, who would buy that? What would you... I just imagine somebody at work has a little neandroid of Wen KeXing holding this person's severed torso and head, and they come in to give them the papers and they're like, okay, not gonna bother you today. I need that to put out on Mondays and be like, I haven't had my coffee yet. The other thing was I meant to record this episode yesterday, but I was so sick yesterday. I had one of the worst migraines I've had in months and months and months. It was really bad. I haven't had a migraine that bad in maybe over a year. And I was like, what is happening? And I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was just the time of year, hormones, all these things together. And it just made a big cocktail for disaster. But I was sick all day yesterday. And I felt like I lost a day of productivity or just a day of doing things. I hate that being sick takes time from you. That's such a terrible feeling. But I always have to watch this show when I'm feeling the most energetic. And there are other things I should be recording, but I woke up this morning and was like, nope, we're going to do Word of Honor. So that's where I'm at. So yes, I'm excited though. I hope you all are as well. This episode's only 42 minutes long, which means it's about 39 minutes. But you know what? I've learned throughout this series that means nothing. The episodes being short just means that they're condensing it, and it's probably going to be an amazing episode. So we shall see. But we're going to start episode 23 of Word of Honor. We're going to start at the 1 minute 48 second mark. And we're going to do that here in 3, 2, 1. And let's go. We're going to come back with Shinshin. I guess I'm not wanted here. Oh. Not as much as getting thrown out. Oh. Changling's like, I guess I'm going to talk about this. Where are you going? Good. Okay, establish that. Yes, that's what he should be doing. Oh, bitch. Oh, bitch. Oh, bitch. Okay, so we established Zhao Long doesn't have a lot of family. Oh, oh, little tear shed, Shin Shin. He's so much bigger than Changling. It's kind of crazy. Aw. Oh, bitch. Okay. I like he said masters, like he has accepted that Zhou Zishu and Wen KeXing are together. Oh, okay. Okay. That's a red flag of death. Oh, wow. That's a great way of putting that. Okay. Well, that's gonna solve everything. Good kid. Good kid. Good job, pig. That firm, heterosexual arm hug. Man, I just came around to Shin Shin's character these last couple episodes, but good for him. Good for him. Oh, yeah, because Guzhong is here, too. So she would be able to watch after him. She's like, what have these homosexuals done to you, sir? Speaking of the devil! Mm. Oh, ask her this. No. Oh. Oh. You guys have been together for a while. Oh. How long has that been? Oh, bitch, you know. You know where. He knows. He knows that he's in the Ghost Valley. He knows they're both in the Ghost Valley. No, she's like, I'm not leaving you alone with him. Oh. Mm. She's like, quit trying to take my daddy away from me. Which they're more like big brother and sister. She's like, he's going to wake up as soon as I leave. I know how this works. It's like when you go to the bathroom at a restaurant and you come back and your food's already out. You just know it's going to happen. He knows that they're in the Ghost Valley. Bitch, you know. He looks so good there. Oh my God. Oh, I love when he just takes it. Oh. 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 Can he become telepathic through doing this? Oh, shit. Oh. Ooh. Oh, wow. Oh, shit. Oh, my God. KeXing. Oh. Oh, wow. Bitch. So he was grooming him to be his replacement? The fudge? Oh, wow. Since he was like 8? What? Oh my God. Now, did Zhou Zishu see all that? Do they have that ability? Right. Oh. I had a traumatic PTSD moment. Oh, he's gone. Yeah, he's already gone. Well, he's not as bad as we thought he was. Ah. Yeah, kind of. Oh, well, yeah. Calm down. You just woke up, sir. Oh. Ooh. Ooh, well. He's like, we've got a lot of layers of trauma to delve through. Aw. Aw. Aw, Zhou Zishu. Oh, bitch. He's like, when you put it that way. Oh, okay. 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 All right. He's like, I'll take that. A parched. Sure, bitch. He's like, okay. Okay. Zhou Zishu, my dude. Zhou Zishu's like, fine, I'm gonna question you with you with trauma. He's like, what am I, Jesus? Oh. 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 Yes, indeed. I would describe judging as that. Aww. She's like, I knew it. I knew it would happen. She get out of my way. Aww. Aww. Cute. He knows. Bitch, he knows. That's why he's so... Okay. Yeah. We're just lucky that Wen KeXing did not go crazy. Like poor tragic comic ghost. Oh, well, sure. Sure. Oh, he didn't want you to know, sweetheart. He didn't want you to know. She's like, what we doing? The black and red aesthetic in this scene is just, it is scratching such a good itch. She's like, ah, shit, you better be telling the truth. She's like, please be nice to Granny. Please don't hurt her. Yeah. Oh. 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 Soul leaving illness. Interesting. So it's a combination. Okay. Well, that makes me feel better about Wen KeXing. Well, about that. Hmm. I like they kept the continuity of her shirt being ripped. Oh, wow. Interesting. Oh. I'm like, who are you to question her? She's like, you know how it goes. Oh. Yeah, it is like a gambling addiction. Oh, wow. That's a crazy way to describe it, but that's not wrong. Wow. Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. Wow. Okay. He looks so good there. Why does everybody look so good in this episode? Well, it's kind of like it sounds. Ooh. Unfaithful men. Ha 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 ha. Well, I mean, sure, be feminist. Do you know from personal experience? Interesting. Oh, ho, 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 ho. She's like, I just told you I can't do that. Oh. Okay. She's like, ah, shit. All right, I just gotta find the recipe for this. Granny, how do you make this? She's like, oh, this isn't gonna be easy. Hmm. Oh. Oh, let me clean your hand, sir. Yeah, 7 or 8. Why? Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Well, you know, love does crazy things. Hmm. Oh, wow. Hmm. Oh. Oh. Oof. Speaking of migraines, know how that goes. That's why he needs Zhou Zishu, so he doesn't have the migraines, because he's too in love. Love conquers migraines. Aww. Aww. Yeah. Ooh, ooh. Ooh. That means you like him. Mm-hmm. Oh. Oh, wow. That's not what I thought he was going to say. Ooh. Ooh. Oh, that's not it, but. Ooh. Oh. Because she loves you. Ha! Ah. Oh. 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 Hmm. Oh. Oh. She does love him. Yeah. She does. Then he knows what that feels like because he thinks that about Jojishu. Oh. 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 Bless her heart. Bless her heart. She does love him. Oh. 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 And that's what they're both afraid of. Oh. Oh. He dares. He wouldn't hurt you. They both being these devils that fell in love with these little angels. Well, Joshishu's not exactly an angel, but. Oh, girl, you need to be honest to him then. Oh. Oh, sweetheart. Oh. But I like the first one. Oh. Oh. No. Oh. Oh. Ooh. Okay. Okay. I mean, I think he's gonna find out anyway. Well, not particularly. It's kind of changed. He mainly wants to get revenge on Zhao Zishu. Ah, okay. Okay. No! Cao WeiNing. Just sitting here making stew. Oh, and there's Changling. I like these built-in pots. I want that in my oven. Oh, oh, he's like, look, we're wearing matching robes. Ah! Oh, we're having like a father-son talk. He's like, oh, I'm gonna die. Changling's like, you're gonna die. Now's the time to learn. Oh, shit. Oh. Oh. Oh, wow. Oh. Oh, wow. Mmm. Oh. Mm. Oh. Ugh. Did you? Why does it look so good there? Everybody looks so good. Oh. 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 If you hurt her, I will kill you. She's like my younger sister. Yes. Oh. Oh. And if you hurt her heart. Oh. Hmm. So before you go back and make that soup, I want you to know he's like just skirting around a white lie that she's from the Ghost Valley, which is fair game. This is like getting the father's blessing. Oh. Mm. Uh-huh. Ooh. No matter what happens. Oh. Like a scout's honor. Oh. Oh. Right. 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 Oh. Oh, bitch. Okay. Aww. Aww. Love at first sight, bitch. Aww. Oh, he's like, good kid. You're the one who said it. I'll hold you to that. Ah! Oh. Oh. Uh. Well, because we're about to get down to business. Her step parents. Mm. Oh. Oh, really? Really? Ah! Help! What do I do? He's like, oh, thank God. Ah! That little sad face. Uh. Oh. Because he can't taste anymore. Oh. Because he's lost his sense of taste. That's really sad. I want Wen KeXing to just take his finger and oh. That doesn't sound right. Oh. All things are adding up together. Everything's going so well. What is this? Why you acting all cray-cray? Oh. Uh-huh. Oh, Puss in Boots' face. Hmm. Huh. Hmm. No. Uh-huh. Well, no, it's actually the Sword of Mortal, though, right? Hmm. Interesting. Aw. Oh, all these horses are the same color. Interesting. Little Red and Big Red. Uh. Okay. Oh. Oh, hello. Hi, Pink. Hello. Wow, the red underneath. Mm-hmm. Oh, wow. And Zhou Zishu has the white. Uh. Oh. Oh. Ah! What, Changling? Why are you laughing? Oh, me? What? Oh. 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 No. Oh. 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 What do you know? Oh. Oh. He's too pure. Oh. A list of devils. Oh, the way he said that. How big his eyes are. Oh, ooh, ooh, ooh. Uh-huh. And be destroyed there. Oh. 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 Oh, that is so manipulative. Oh. Wow, what a contrast to last episode. All you know is how to make me happy instead of angry. Oh. Oh, bitch. Oh, okay. Okay. I mean, I mean, oh, buddy. Well, that was a very somewhat straightforward episode. That episode was really good. Oh, was it good? It was a really good episode. It had a lot of things happen that needed to happen. I don't know what I'm going to put on whiteboard, Coon, other than maybe breaking down what the Scorpion King wants versus what Zhao Jing is planning. That's probably that was the big like mechanical substance behind all of it, because at this point when KeXing's like, yeah, the glazed armor is a thing, but it really was a front of me just getting revenge on the people that killed my family and made my life hell inadvertently. So yeah, that's really been the whole gist of all of this. But yeah, oh my gosh. So this episode was really, really good, and I want to kind of go through it with you all and break things down. Shin Shin! I just, what is this series and making me come to appreciate characters who have kind of come full circle. Shin Shin has really come full circle for me, and I did not like his character at the beginning. I was very much against his emotional outbursts, and he was doing things without really considering the whole scope of everything. And I was like, oh, you're not thinking. You're just this big, like, himbo kind of character, which he kind of is. But these last few episodes where Shin Shin has kind of come to terms with being like, oh, yeah, we've done some shit, and that was a problem, and now I need to kind of make up for it. Good, glad. And he's actually holding himself accountable and saying, you know what, at this point all I can do is go get Zhao Lian and get her out of the situation she's in, and I'll bring her back. And what I really liked about this conversation was that Shin Shin did not put the onus of Changling having to marry her on him, because essentially Wen KeXing, and this is not to say anything bad about what Wen KeXing proposes, because I loved it. Wen KeXing is proposing, like, Cao WeiNing, you need to take Guzhang under your wing, potentially marry her, because that's like the ultimate way to protect her, and that's the way to keep her safe. And Cao WeiNing's like, can do. But what I like about Shinshin is that he doesn't tell Changling, you have to honor Gao Chong's wishes and you have to marry her. Because I think at the end of the day, Shinshin kind of knows that even if Gao Chong was intending Changling to marry Zhao Lian for reasons other than just furthering his own line and to help Changling, even if he was thinking of Changling and doing it, I think Shinshin also realizes that, yeah, there was some political pull there. There was reasoning behind it. And what I like is that Shinshin doesn't say, he doesn't make Changling, honor Gao Chong's wishes for them to marry because that would be the noble thing to do. He doesn't say that, which you would expect him to. Instead, he's like, look, whether you marry her or not, I'm not going to be around all the time, which is giant red flag of Shinshin's probably going to die, which I'm like, ooh, I kind of don't want him to die now, but it would be kind of funny if Shinshin was the last person to take control of the Five Lakes Alliance, and at the beginning of the series, he was the least likely to do that. That would be it's like a very Hamlet kind of situation, but this could actually go the Hamlet route, and all the Five Lakes Alliance people die out, and it just completely dissolves, or gets taken over by somebody unrelated. Who knows? Maybe Changling, but Changling's going back to the Four Seasons, so that's not the same. But I like that Shinshin says, whether you marry her or not, I'm not going to be around forever. Can you at least check in on her, make her, have a place to be safe? If you're going back to the Four Seasons, take her with you, at least give her a place to live because she doesn't have any family left. Can you just promise me to do that you'll just be there for her if something happens? That's a very reasonable response. And I like that. And Changling, of course, is like, well, I was kind of planning that anyway. So, but good for them. Good for Shinshin. I think that's a really responsible thing. Shinshin just looks really attractive here. Also, it reminds me, Changling is tiny. Changling is so small. Because I don't think Shinshin and these other guys are that tall. I don't think they're like 6'5". I don't think so. I think Changling is just a tiny little guy. And I'm like, oh, he's such a bean. And Shinshin just looks so much heftier and like just bulkier in comparison. And I really like that Shinshin kind of acknowledges, he's like, I owe a massive debt to Wen KeXing's family, and there's no way I can repay it. And he's like, and he accepts how Wen KeXing feels. He's like, I get why he hate me. I'd hate me too for that reason. He just it was doing lots of good things in this episode. He's like, I'm worried she might be dead. And Changling believing she's still alive. I like it. And this moment where Changling talked about the glazed armor being destroyed, I wondered if Shinshin was going to bring up the fact that it's not really destroyed, because him and Zhao Jing kind of talked about that. If I remember correctly, they kind of talked about how it could all be a ploy and the glazed armor could still be out there. I thought that Shinshin was going to bring it up, but he did not, which Wen KeXing now knows that the Gentle Wind sect has the glazed armor, so that's all I feel like that's gonna come back around to all of them. But yeah, Shinshin, so much bigger than Changling. It's crazy. But yeah, he's like, we owe them a favor. And with the fact that he's like, stay with Wen KeXing and Zhou Zishu, Shinshin like inadvertently accepts that they're a pair. And I was like, okay, cool. Allyship. Way to go. Good job, Shinshin. And he's like, if I find Zhao Lian, I'm going to take her to the Mount Dagu sect. Okay, so that is something we probably can... Whoop, right on here. I just spilled like half my markers from Whiteboard Coon. So if Shinshin finds Zhao Lian, he's going to take her to Mount Dagu. The Mount Dagu sect, which I remember them from the very beginning. They seem like they were pointed out. So, okay, cool. So he's going to take her there. And then that's where y'all can find her. And his intent is there for her to go to the Four Seasons with Changling. He's like, even if you don't marry her, just give her a place to stay. Because as we find out in this episode, according to Shinshin, Gao Chong did not have any family. He didn't really have any kin, any close relatives, so there's really nowhere for her to go. So she's kind of an orphan at this point. Like Changling. And I like that Changling's like, I was going to look after her no matter what, so we're all good. She's a lone girl with no one to rely on. Aw. I like that. I like he gives him the manly heterosexual bro grip, like, all right, bro, good talk. Good job, Shinshin. Shinshin, you gained so many points in my favor at this point. What a great guy. So meanwhile, Meanwhile, Wen KeXing is still knocked out, and Guzhang's taking care of him. And Zhou Zishu's like, "Hey, this whole coughing up blood business, was this a thing when you all were growing up?" And she's like, "Well, no. When I was young, Master was often sick, and after I grew up, it stopped happening." So we find out at the very beginning that Wen KeXing had been trying to fight the Waters of Oblivion, and in fighting the Waters of Oblivion, it caused him to cough up all this blood and everything. Now, I'm glad we got established from the Alluring Ghost that the tragicomic ghost state is not entirely from the Water of Oblivion. Like, trying to remember the stuff the Water of Oblivion is making you forget will make you sick and have migraines and throw up blood, which how I felt yesterday. So I get it, Wen KeXing. I know how bad that is. But Wen KeXing in this episode was me yesterday. Literally me yesterday with the wet rag over my head, throwing up, passing out. Like, that was me yesterday. So I was there. I was there where you are, Wen KeXing. But I'm glad we got confirmation that a lot of the tragic comic ghost's mania and her, like, losing herself is from an additional illness. That she had a soul-leaving illness, which sounds terrifying. Nope. And that, combined with the Water of Oblivion, was making her, like, lose herself. Glad we established that, because I was afraid that whatever was happening with the tragic comic ghost was going to happen with Wen KeXing. Glad that's probably not going to be the case. And then, so Zhou Zishu, who's being our Nancy Drew here, is like, "Since when did you follow Lao Wen?" And she's like, "Oh, I've been with him as long as I can remember." And he's like, "Then when did he get there?" He knows. He knows they went to the Ghost Valley. He knows. He's like, "When did he get there?" Because where else would there be? And so then when she's like, "What do you mean, get where?" She's like, "Get where?" And he's like, And Zhou Zishu has grown so much as a character throughout this series, because Zhou Zishu, from back in episode 8 or 9, would have been like, the Ghost Valley. I feel like his answers would have been a little bit more insensitive, because he would have just been, not because he's intending to be insensitive, but I feel like Zhou Zishu was always very matter of fact and just like, "Oh, well, this is it," right? Because that's how he was as the Window of Heaven assassin leader. You had to be matter of fact and blunt and everything. But the reality is Zhou Zishu is actually a big softie, hiding in a little tsundere shell, and he's been slowly coming out of that tsundere shell over the course of this series. And so now whenever she's like, "Get where?" he's like, "Okay, you don't want to talk about it. Fair. Fine." I like his approach now of, "I'm going to back away and let you have space," and then slowly inch back into the conversation. But he knows they're in the Ghost Valley. He has come to that decision. He's come to that determination. I don't know if he knows that Wen KeXing is the chief, but he knows that Guzhang and him are from the Ghost Valley. He has come to that determination. And I think what he is thinking, which is what we, the audience, are thinking, is, and we know from the flashback, is that Wen KeXing, as soon as he left, as soon as they came and killed his parents, they took him to the Ghost Valley as like a little protege. They didn't kill him. They took him with them to make him a ghost. Or he offered to go with them. That part we don't know. But he's been there since he was like 8 years old. No wonder he is the way that he is, right? And so Zishu makes him go away, makes her go away. I like Guzhang's like, as soon as I go, he's going to wake up, which is what happens. Like I said in the reaction, it's like when you go to the bathroom and you come out and your food's there. Happens every time. My thing is, whenever he grips, first of all, when he grips Wen KeXing's hand, bye censors, glad you're still away, hooray, huzzah. But I don't know, was he able to see inside Wen KeXing's head, knowing that this is a wuxia now and not a zhansha, and there's maybe not telepathic supernatural things going on? Maybe he can't do that. So I think maybe, was he trying to pour some of his own energy into Wen KeXing so that he would get better? Maybe he was trying to pour his own energy into it. Maybe, perhaps, mayhaps. Regardless, we get the flashback with the ghost chief calling him Jing. So calling him, he was Wen KeXing from the moment he went there. And he's like, "Punish me again." Oh my God. Like this, like Wen KeXing as a kid being like masochistic with this ghost chief. not you were part of the Ghost Valley, not Valley as in Mountain Valley, but as in a venomous parasite. Oh, they're homophones. Okay. And then just, oh, this poor little kid. And so basically all the things that he's been instilled with that he taught Guzhang has been instilled upon him since he was like a little kid. Also, this throne room is pretty bitchin'. Not gonna lie. That big old throne with like the mosaic, like intricate patterns and everything. Not bad. Not crazy bad. It's pretty cool. Liking the silver and red motif. Especially that the former Ghost Chief has going on. Interesting enough. He says, becoming the talent you are now was not an easy task. I'm only teaching you because I have high hopes for you. Okay. Because he says whether or not you can become the next 1,000 Venom King or 1,000 Evil Chief is up to luck. So this guy, he took in Wen KeXing with the knowledge that Wen KeXing could potentially kill him one day and become the Ghost Chief. That's pretty messed up and crazy. Okay. Okay, all these old men taking on disciples. You got Ye Bai Yi with Rongzhan. You got him with Wen KeXing. You've got Zhou Zishu with his master. Crazy talk. Wild. Yeah, Wen KeXing's, like, mentality and the way he views things. This one scene, and then, like, the gripping of the fists when he's, you know, fighting back all of his real emotions. It all makes sense now. This one scene of tiny little child Wen KeXing getting abused by the Ghost Chief and all of the sponge-like manipulation that he's been absorbing and has taken with him as a Ghost Valley member all makes sense now. All makes sense now. Every bit of it. So when he wakes up and Zhou Zishu, you know, because Zhou Zishu was an assassination leader. Let's not forget that. But Zhou Zishu's upbringing was much different than Wen KeXing's. Much, much different. And so when KeXing lashes out asking where Shin is, that makes a lot more sense because that one flashback has given us a lot more context. Now, whether Zhou Zishu saw that or not, we don't know. But he's like, it's fine. I was just interrupted. And he's like, where's Shin? He's like, I already drove him out. And he's like, well, I like that when KeXing asks, why would you do that? Zhou Zishu's like, well, we determined he's not the mastermind, and it's just Shin. He's like, what good is killing him now? He's stupid and selfish, but he's going to go rescue Xiaolian. I like the message of sparing someone has a purpose, because sparing Shin is leading him now to feel indebted, and he's going to go get Xiaolian. So in the end, Zhou Zishu's, you know, when KeXing was taught, much like Guzhang told Cao WeiNing, you know, last episode, was that, you know, if you don't kill them, they could kill you. And that's the mentality they've had from the Ghost Valley since the beginning. But Zhou Zishu demonstrates in this episode that, yeah, or we could not kill them and maybe some good karma will come back on us in the end. What about that? And it works out, or at least we think it's going to work out, because that's what Shin's left to do. But when you see Wen KeXing get mad about all this, you kind of get where he's coming from and why he would think that way. Do you think everyone has a conscience? And Zhou Zishu's like, well, I kind of hope that everybody does, because I've done some shitty things, so I would like to be known as having a conscience as well. I mean, granted, we know why Wen KeXing thinks that people don't have consciences. Case in point, the Ghost Chief. Case in point. Imagining the idea that your abuser could have a conscience makes you wonder, well, why would they do that? And that leads to a whole discussion. And the good thing about this conversation is, again, Zhou Zishu from the beginning of this series would get frustrated by Wen KeXing and his conversation and would probably just walk away and just be huffy about it. But here, Zhou Zishu understands that, one, Wen KeXing is probably from the Ghost Valley and has a skewed perception of humanity because of his upbringing there, potentially, allegedly. Two, he knows that Wen KeXing's had a lot of trauma in losing his family. He's thinking about their deaths and Shin's ties to it. And three, Zhou Zishu is understanding that Wen KeXing does not have the same background that he does. And so it's really mature of Zhou Zishu to look at Wen KeXing and go, okay, your perspective is very different from mine, but that's okay. And I get what you're saying. And I need to step back and see where you're coming from. And even if I don't agree with it necessarily, I'm not going to immediately dismiss you. Like, that's important too. Because Wen KeXing's getting pretty mad, and he's like, hey, he's like, everyone else had their own difficulties. And then Wen KeXing's like, oh, did they? Did my parents not have difficulties? And he's like, you can be I like that he tells Zhou Zishu, he's like, you can be the one to forgive everyone and try to right the wrongs if you want to, but that's not me. And I at least like that Wen KeXing sticks to his guns of who he is, even if it's flawed. And I like that Zhou Zishu accepts those flaws, right? I'd rather be the chief. And this line here, I was like, if you haven't convinced Zhou Zishu that you're the ghost chief without saying this line, I would rather be the chief of thousands of devils and stay in hell than suffer in silence. That line, I think you've just completely told Zhou Zishu everything he needs to know. I think you've just confirmed a lot of things. Because the look on Zhou Zishu's face where he says Lao Wen, and he just kind of like blinks and goes, mm-hmm. At that point, I'm like, he knows you're the ghost chief. He knows. He knows. So I'm confident when it comes out that Wen KeXing is the ghost chief to Zhou Zishu is going to be like, yeah, I kind of knew. You really gave a lot of hints. So I think he'll be okay with it because he's like, I was the assassin leader of Window of Heaven. Because he says, I'm sorry. And I feel like he's like, this was your personal grudge. He's like, I should not have decided for you. Zhou Zishu's come so far. He's grown a lot. I love this about him. And that, him saying he's sorry does calm down Wen KeXing. And then when Zhou Zishu says, I just didn't want to see your hands get stained with fresh blood again, I think that's what calms him down even more, because Zhou Zishu is like, look, this was the reason why I said that. I was trying to help you. I was trying to benefit you. I wasn't just doing this for a selfish reason, because Wen KeXing, again, has grown up surrounded by people who do things for selfish reasons. So to be around somebody that's not doing that is, almost unheard of for him. So that does end up calming him down a little bit. And then he kind of goes back to being like, oh, you did that for me? Well, he's like, no, it's fine. He's like, give me some water. He's like, uh-huh. Let him live well then. Let him watch the dogs in the Five Lakes Alliance. And then Zhou Zishu's like, let's leave Shin alone. I'll go with you to take your revenge on Zhao Jing. Because Zhao Jing, we've come determined, is the mastermind in this. And I like that Wen KeXing's like, okay, you're going to be a murder husband with me. Fine. Let's be murder husbands together. Good. He's like, get me some water. I'm dehydrated. And I love when he hands, again, Wen KeXing, like, everybody looks so damn good in this episode. Everybody looks so damn good. Wen KeXing looked amazing. Like, when he looks up at Zhou Zishu giving him the water, and his face instantly looks like a damn model, I'm like, I could stop. And then the Scorpion King looks amazing this episode. The Alluring Ghost looks amazing in this episode. Shin looked amazing. Cao WeiNing looked amazing. Everybody looked great. Everybody looked cinematically pleasing throughout this episode. And I like that he essentially calls Zhou Zishu, like Jesus. You're gonna turn it into wine? Mm-hmm. She's like, we're going after you fully recovered. Uh-huh. And Zhou Zishu's like, okay. They easily betray others. And coincidentally, the leader of the alliance fell into the hands of a heartless and ruthless bastard. Does this count at karma? He's like, well, maybe. So then Guzhang shows back up. It's super cute. And Zhou Zishu's like, I'm going to let you all talk. And I'm going to see if Changling... He said he was going to see if Changling was finished making the food. But clearly Changling was not making the food. It was Cao WeiNing, because Changling's like, I can't cook. Well... Or that was Zhou Zishu just trying to get out of there, so he made up an excuse. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. And so then he says it was the water of oblivion that made me act up. Mm-hmm. So then we go back to the tragicomic ghost who's having a lot of issues. And I love the Scorpion King is trying to be like, well, Zhao Jing's a very common name. It's like John Smith. It's completely common. Could be totally talking about a different Zhao Jing. Totally different Zhao Jing. Surely. We all know he's just trying to, like, delusion. Convince yourself, right? But he goes in there. He sends the guard away. I love the black and red combo that they're all wearing. They look great. And so he goes to check the pulse of the tragic comic ghost. I don't know why he checks the pulse, but she says it's a combination of the water of oblivion and a soul-leaving illness that caused it. So he's like, I feel like he's like, okay, I feel like the Scorpion King was confirming that because he's like, if I'm going to drink this water of oblivion, which is what I think he's going to do, I think he wants to drink the water of oblivion so he cannot be in love with Zhao Jing and kill him, is what I think. I think he recognizes that he loves Zhao Jing, and so he relates to the alluring ghost, and he's like, if I'm going to be the ultimate leader, I got to be able to kill Zhao Jing, and right now I'm kind of in love with him, which is an inconvenience to my conscience. So if I could forget all that, that'd be real handy. But he's like, I don't want to drink the water of oblivion if it's going to turn me into somebody like her if I remember. Don't want that. And so the alluring ghost being like, no, it's a combination of the water of oblivion and this previous illness. And he's like, okay, good. So chances are I won't go into a delirious spiral if I remember Zhao Jing. Great. What she wants to forget is the man who failed her. He's like, how do you heal this? And she's like, well, I've never drank the water of oblivion, so I don't know. I like the continuity of them giving her the cut, costume thing from the lustful ghost. I forgot about that, and then when I saw it, I was like, that's a really good continuity. Good job, show. So she explains that the ghost chief let her stay. When I wanted to commit suicide, it was the master who saved me and took me back to the mountain, and the chief took pity on me and allowed me to be an exception. Clearly, that is the chief that is Wen KeXing. Because if it was the other ghost chief, I don't think he would have taken pity on her. I think he would have killed her. So that makes sense. And Wen KeXing probably let her stay because he took pity on her as well. And so I like that the Scorpion King turns around and says, you should have been the one to drink the water of oblivion the most. What was the exception? And she says, well, I thought as long as I remembered everything, I wouldn't make the same mistakes. He's like, then why'd you go back? Everybody's onto her about going back to you, Cho Fong. Everybody's onto her about it. Being like, why'd you go back to him then? Like, so funny. And so she compares it, which is a really good comparison, to a gambling addiction. Like, I was, for the first week of June, when I was away from the channel, I went to Las Vegas. That was where my friends and I went. And none of us gamble. My two friends, they like put $30 in like an old slot machine and just, we sat there while they gambled away that $30. Didn't make anything back, by the way. I did not do that because I am very much, I tell my friends, I'm like, one, I know that people in my family have addictive behaviors, and I'm one of those like gonna break the cycle type of people. So I know that about my family history, and I'm like, I'm not gonna be part of that because I know how that works. Two, I hate to lose things. I'm competitive and I hate to lose, and I know I'm gonna lose. I've come to terms with that. So I'm like, no, why would I waste my money? And three, $30, while that was, in terms of Vegas, a very low amount, I was like, I could buy like a nice dinner with that while we're here. So no, I'm going to save my money and do that. So yeah. So, but while we were there, there are just people that just gamble so much and so much. And you can see when you're there in Vegas how easily addictive it is, because the environment makes it very easy to fall into those patterns. And before you even realize it, you just keep coming back for more because it's very stimulating. It's very much like everybody's doing it. There's a lot of pressure. It also makes it seem like it's so easy and that there's no risk and that it's what everybody's doing and that's totally fine. And it's very enabling. And so when she talks about gambling addiction, I'm like, yeah, I get it. I get how horrible and horrifying it actually is. The more you gamble, the more you lose. But the more you lose, the more you gamble. It's like you just get addicted to this, well, but I can overcome it and be the exception, And I like that she knows that about herself. She's like, I realize that liking this guy is probably not what anybody thinks is the right idea. She's like, but I can't stop. I can't stop. And I feel like the Scorpion King, in some respect, gets what she's saying. Because I think he knows Zhao Jing is not the most trustworthy person, and that Zhao Jing could very well do the same thing to him as what's happened with the tragic comic ghost. And he wants to get away from him. That's why he wants to drink the water of oblivion. He's projecting a lot onto the alluring ghost. He wants to break away from Zhao Jing, I feel. That's my opinion at this point. But she's like, I just can't get away from him. I bet on the wrong treasure. Which, man, what a a statement to make about you, Cho Fong, being like, I bet on this guy. I don't know. Damn. Girl. I mean, she's gorgeous, so get it. I get it. I'm like, my poor mouse is like dying slowly. I'm going to change the battery after this episode. All right. But yeah. So then he's like, but thanks to the master's help. What does she say there? She's like, thanks to the master's help. I want to go back to there. Okay. I lived some extra years as a partial human and a partial devil. She's like, I was able to live in the Ghost Valley, and that was rewarding to me. And she's like, I will do anything for her. I might as well lose everything. That's how much I, am entrusting her. She gave me a second chance at life for what it was, and I owe that debt to her. And she's like, but then, and I like the Scorpion King's like, how did the Ghost Valley raise a human like you? And she's like, the Department of the Unfaithful. She's like, Master previously said she wants to uphold justice for all women who've been harmed by unfaithful men. And she says the phrase there, and kill every traitor in the world. What I liked about this moment here was, as I'm getting on this, what I like about this was that the Scorpion King, he goes, being fickle and lacking in righteousness is the natural disposition of people. What does it have to do with gender? Man, the Scorpion King being a feminist icon in this moment, because I define feminism, we've talked about this in other series, but I'm very much in the camp of feminism, like third wave feminism, like feminism from the 80s, like the idea of gender equality. So it's not necessarily, I'm not like the 70s brawl burning, like women, yes, men, no, but it's more, I like the prescription of feminism as just an equality and equity between genders. Being like, yes, we should treat women the same way that we treat men. And there's a lot of facets with that are not being met by society even today. And it's worth discussing. And I like the Scorpion King bringing out, because he's potentially dealing with Zhao Jing being unfaithful to him. So he's like, oh, so if I wanted to join the Court of the Unfaithful, I couldn't because I'm a man? And I'm like, oh! So he's like, Zhao Jing's a damn man whore. He's out here getting with everybody, regardless of gender. He has a wife. He had the tragicomic ghost. He's got all these young men, disciples, and servants and stuff. It's like, he's like, oh, well, I've been, treated unfaithfully. Am I not welcome into the Court of the Unfaithful? Brings up a pretty damn good point. He's like, even if statistically women are definitely in this world treated by the double standard, and I don't think he says that that's not true, but I think he's also acknowledging to the alluring ghost that, yeah, just because this is the standard of the society we live in doesn't mean that there also aren't men being treated unfaithfully as well. And I was like, all right, sir, okay. I mean, come on, Scorpion King. What kind of person lives a life without turning their back on others? And who hasn't ever been betrayed before? I mean, he's speaking to her because he knows she's part of the Ghost Valley, and that's the nature of people in the Ghost Valley. But I think that where she is like, but love is a different layer of it, right? There's a difference between betrayal and a difference between a lover betraying you. He's like, your life's been too full of suffering, so I don't want to take it. Oh, I love it. But he's like, I'm not going to just not take it. I want something in return. So he asks her if he's like, I'm going to give you a chance to make a choice. You can either join me. He's like, you can join me. And I was like, oh, she can become an assassin? If you're willing to pledge your loyalty to me, and do not even mention that person with the surname you, whatever wishes you have, I will promise to you. I don't care what method you use. Find the recipe of the water of oblivion. Give it to me, and I'll set you free. And of course, she's like, oh, that's all you want? Okay. I mean, he's like, just don't mention anything to you, because you is an idiot, and will likely go back and tell Zhao Jing, don't be saying nothing about it. So you just go give me that recipe, go raid the Ghost Valley cookbook, find me that recipe, bring it back, and then you all can go do whatever the hell you want, because that's all I want. I just need to know the recipe. I like the Alluring Ghost is like, God damn it. We didn't write any of our recipes down. The food was for shit in the Ghost Valley. So meanwhile, we go back to Guzhong and Wen KeXing. He's like, there are people who didn't want me to remember certain things. I mean, I could see why they wouldn't want Wen KeXing to remember his background or connection to the Five Lakes Alliance or any of that, because he was from a place of status. So if you're trying to subject somebody and submit them, you don't want them to remember that they're from a place of power. So that kind of makes sense. And she says, but you drank the water of oblivion. Did Guzhong drink the water of oblivion? How do you still remember? He's like, deep hatred is hard to forget even after all of your teeth fall out. Don't even mention swallowing one measly bowl. If my corpse was falling apart, I would still remember and take my revenge. I get the impression from this conversation in this episode that Guzhong did not drink the water of oblivion. Instead, she was just, brought into the Ghost Valley as like a little pup that was with Wen KeXing. That's my idea, but I could be wrong. He's like, I often had headaches, coughed up blood, and fainted. And that problem hasn't acted up in a long time because, he had kind of forgotten about that and accepted being the Ghost Chief and wasn't trying to go back to being who he was or remembering what he was. And then Zhou Zishu being around has brought up all of those old memories, He's like, before that day arrives, my enemies are going to have to suffer. And he's like, don't be afraid. I'll make sure you're in a good place. So that's when we get the conversation about her and Cao WeiNing. And she's like, why didn't you tell me all of this earlier? I'd risk my life to help you. And he's like, I don't want your help. He's like, I care for you. I like the fact that he's like, look, I care for you. I took you in. You're my little sister. But I'm about to go do some dangerous stuff. And I want to make sure that you're safe. So do you like Cao WeiNing or not? And she does. And I feel why she feels so guilty about it. Because she's like, I didn't originally like him. I went along with a lot of things because I was trying to help you. And along the way, I fell in love with him. And she's like, that makes me feel really sad because she's like, eventually I'm going to have to tell him or he's going to find out and ask me. And I'm going to have to be like, yeah, I was originally deceiving you, but then I kind of fell for you. So, and the thing about it is, just like Zhou Zishu, I think Cao WeiNing knows. He's been told enough by Wen KeXing and enough by her. And despite him being a golden retriever of a man, he's not dumb. So he's kind of, I think, read between the lines. And even if he doesn't know about the Ghost Valley, he does know she's come from a rough upbringing. But that doesn't matter to him. He still loves her. And so he's perfect for her. But I get why she would be, upset. And he's like, if you go to the Gentle Wind sect, you'll be really safe. And it's not that he doesn't want her anymore, but he's like, the road I'm taking is probably going to lead to hell. And he's like, you were not originally brought to the Ghost Valley, except you wandered there by accident. He's like, there's a chance for you to be okay. And she's like, but my whole life you told me I'm the amethyst fiend and there is no chance for me. And this is, I'm a fiend and all this. So she's very conflicted of, this is how I've grown up and now you're telling me that that was a lie. I feel for them both because they both found love with two really wholesome people. And I say wholesome with Zhou Zishu being a former assassin leader, but they found, love with these two people that care about them. And she's like, is it really possible for us to have this love? Like, I love these moments between them where they're both crying and like looking at each other. They're like, we both, we've been bad people and we accepted we were bad people, but now it's possible that we can be good people. What is this? Like, it's very sweet. It's very sweet. And she's like, what if, I reveal who I am and Cao WeiNing tries to hurt me? And Wen KeXing's like, that's not going to happen. He's like, I'd gut his entire sect if he failed you. And she's like, but I'm the one who failed him because I've not been honest with him. I've been fake. And she's like, I'm so scared because she's like, I do love him. But what if he finds out about all the lies and the fakeness that I've been putting in front of him and he doesn't love me because of it? And I'm like, girl. And then she poses the same thing to him. She's like, the better he treats me, the more I think everything is fake. And then she's like, she brings up the snowman thing. Like, we made this snowman and it melted. And even if you try to rebuild it, it's not the same thing than it was the first time. Once that trust is gone, you can't rebuild it in the same way. Like, she brings up a really good point. And she, I think her and Wen KeXing are both dealing with the same thing. The more that they get closer to these two individuals, the more it's like you need to tell them who you are and put the truth out in the open. Otherwise, it's going to feel worse and worse, and you're destroying that trust because they're building up all this trust, but you're the one not saying it. Oh. She's like, if one day Zhou Zishu found out about your identity, would you kill him and find a new friend? The answer is no, but she's like, if you put yourself in my shoes, how do you feel? Because this is kind of the same thing. And he's like, I don't want to talk about my feelings. And then he says, don't forget you're the heartless amethyst fiend. You've already become as sentimental as a grandmother. And she's like, yeah, how can I forget? How could I forget? She's like, that's the problem. Yeah, I still can't see the light because of who I am. And I think that Wen KeXing, he wants her to be successful and have a normal life because he would want that for himself. And he's accepted that's probably not going to happen for him, even though we, the audience, are like, come on, you and Zhou Zishu. But he said, you've never walked in the martial arts world. They don't have any reason to know your identity, so just hide it until the end. I won't hurt the Gentle Wind Sword sect. And she's like, but what about the glazed armor? And he's like, that's not really what I was after from the beginning, so it doesn't matter now. Meanwhile, Cao WeiNing is the one doing all the cooking. Girl, you are lucky. You got a man that can cook for you. You got a voracious appetite. Cao WeiNing, he's checking off boxes, y'all. Poor Changling's like, I can't cook. They're just making stew. Changling, you can't make a soup? Come on, I can make a soup, and I'm a terrible cook. You need to learn, Changling. You need to learn how to make a decent stew. But this whole meet the father, because Wen KeXing kind of acknowledges Cao WeiNing. He's like, theoretically, I'm kind of like her big brother, and she's like my little sister. But literally, I've raised her, so I am kind of like her dad, and she is kind of like my daughter. So this is like a meet the father situation. And Cao WeiNing being shorter than Wen KeXing and just being kind of imposing. Cao WeiNing is so handsome, though. He's just such a... He's so handsome when he smiles like that. Wen KeXing's like, oh my god, follow me. And then Changling's like, don't leave me. I don't know how to cook. Zhou Zishu thought you could. So yeah, then they go out here, and whenever Wen KeXing turns around and says, it wasn't a place for humans to reside when we were younger. I could barely take care of myself, and I didn't want that burden anyway. And there were many times I wanted to throw her away. But that little thing who could barely speak. Wherever I went, she followed. She smiled crookedly at me, her only fear being that I would throw her away. So essentially if we're judging by the timelines, I'm sure Wen KeXing was like 16 or 17 whenever she came into his life, potentially. Or maybe he was even like 12 or 13. We don't know. He was very, very young when he found her. Probably like 12 or 13, probably. But he's like, she told me all these things. And then Cao WeiNing's like, yeah, she told me. But when he looks back at Cao WeiNing and has this pleading look in his eyes, oh, that look, when he looks back and he's like, look, this is killing me to let this girl go because she's literally like my daughter, but she's not safe with me anymore. And we're about to go into a literal scorpion's nest, and I can't risk her dying. So as much as it pains me to leave her with you, you are like the only person that I feel could love her and take care of her. So I'm literally asking you and giving you my blessing. And he's like, the fact she was with me and didn't end up too terrible is already a blessing. His whole face in this scene is heartbreaking. And he's like, it's because I saved her that once she grew up. He's like, it's not that. He's like, actually, I didn't save her. She saved me. The way he describes it as her being there kept part of his heart warm from going completely stone cold. Right? And it's like, again, it's like whenever Zhou Zishu and how he reacts to Changling. Oh my gosh. So then he's like, okay. He's like, enough of that. He's like, look, I'm telling you this because I want you to know that Ajing is like my younger sister. She's like a daughter to me. So in this, not many people have treated me well, but those who have, I've risked my life to pay it back to them. And he's like, but now I want her to live well, to be able to live a simple, happy life. Can you give her that kind of life? And Cao WeiNing's like, oh, yes. Oh, quite so. He immediately answers. He's like, of course I can. He's like, I can't give her riches. And I like that Wen KeXing's like, I don't need you to give her riches. I love that. He's like, tomorrow take her back to the Gentle Wind sect with you, but you have to promise me to never fail her. Basically being like, till death do you part, for better or worse. And I'm sure that this whole thing of him saying this, no matter what happens, don't fail her. And then like he's just like Scout's honor. He just like Scout's honor from now until death. I was like, oh my dude, I will never fail her. Otherwise, may the gods and devils abandon me. And he's like, don't be saying things so, quickly. He's like, you don't even know her that well. But he's like, yeah, like you said, if you fail her, I'll be the first one to strike you down. Oh. But then he's like, from the first time I saw her, I wanted to be good for her for the rest of my life. Like, it was love at first sight for Cao WeiNing. And I'm like, look at you. Look at you. And I love that Zhou Zishu's been listening the whole time. Like, oh, okay, I see how this is going. He's like, if anything happens, you won't even have to find me. I'll slice my own throat to apologize for my sin. That also seems like a red flag. I'm like, Cao WeiNing, do not kill yourself. Please, sir, do not kill yourself if you find out and have a moment of weakness. Do not do that, sir. We want you to live. Mm-hmm. Okay. So then, Zhou Zishu, now the question is, was anybody else listening? Because some of these camera shots, I'm like, was Guzhang or anyone else listening in this moment? I don't know. But yeah, basically, he's like, okay, Cao WeiNing's your future son-in-law now. Mm-hmm. And he's like, aren't you afraid her step-parents won't treat her right? And he's like, who would dare? He's like, why are you in such a hurry to entrust her to someone else? I'm like, Zhou Zishu, you must know that you guys are about to do some dangerous stuff. He's like, I ended up loving matchmaking. I want Ajing to settle down well. Mm-hmm. And live a carefree life in the mountains and woods as you immortals would. So then Zhou Zishu's like, well then, philanthropist Wen, would you practice generosity by matchmaking for me? And Wen KeXing's like, oh bitch, you know we're already matchmade. Like, what would you say? And then we're having this nice moment, and Changling's like, please help, I can't cook. And Wen KeXing's like, he's getting us takeout, we're fine. And it's all fine and hunky-dory and happy-go-lucky and everything's great. And then when KeXing takes away the wine from Zhou Zishu, and Zhou Zishu looks so sad, like a little grumpy cat at first. But then he spits it out saying, is this not vinegar rather than wine? Like, how could you not, why would you swallow something so nasty? And it's essentially because he's losing his taste. He's losing his sense of taste, y'all. And he's slowly dying. And when KeXing just doesn't put together 2 and 2 like Ye Bai Yi has. And I'm like, oh my God, that's absolutely terrifying. What we doing, show? Why would you do that? Also, he had that little dribble of wine / maybe vinegar. And I just wanted Wen KeXing to like take his finger and like wipe it away. Show, why would you give us that sadness? Why would you do that? Why would you do that? And he's like, oh, how could there be any good wine anywhere? Just deal with it. Once we're at the 4 seasons, I'll get the wine buried under the plum forest. Uh-huh. Yeah, show. Not cool. Not cool at all. Okay, so we come back to the happiest Scorpion King and Zhao Jing has been. Zhao Jing, I thought it was really a turn of phrase where last episode he was like, all you do is make me upset and angry. And now he's like, all you do is make me happy. Abuser mentality much? I think so. So Scorpion King is like, what? I got rid of the Immortal Dawn sect just like you asked. And they're like, oh yes, they ran all the way to Mount Song and they begged the monk to help them. And do you know what old man Simu said? He just couldn't sit still anymore. He's calling all the sects to attack the Ghost Valley together. So, we have the alluring ghost over here, off to find the recipe for the water of oblivion to give to the Scorpion King, like you do. Then we have Zhou Zishu saying that all the sects are being called to attack the Ghost Valley, which was their plan from the beginning. He's like inviting the Honorable Alliance leader to attend when the time comes. We couldn't be happier. And he's like, well, what did you say? He's like, well, I have nothing to say. He's like, these fake righteous sects watch safely from their side. And when the Ghost Valley was attacking the Five Lakes Alliance, and now that the knife is on their necks, they understand the pain. So he's like, what do I have to say? He's like, this is, he's now, they know how it feels with the Ghost Valley attacking them. So he's like, they all know how we feel, so why should I say anything? And the Scorpion King reading the note, he's like, inviting my Five Lakes Alliance to come out of the mountain is not that easy. If you want me to come out, go ahead. Express your sincerity. He's like, go ahead, suck up to me. That doesn't mean I'm going to respond. And Scorpion King is like, well, I don't understand. And he's like, oh, silly little child. You're still too inexperienced. When he said you're still too inexperienced, and the Scorpion King gives him this longing Puss in Boots, like, Daddy, I don't know. The manipulation. It's hard to tell what's manipulation and what's real with the Scorpion King. It really is. He's like, Gao Chong was also like this back then. He lived his whole life without understanding this fact. Think about it. The Ghost Valley comes out to do evil. But aside from some small grudges, the big problems are all pointed at our Five Lakes Alliance. So he's like, look, we, the Five Lakes Alliance, have taken the blame while the Ghost Valley just has these little skirmishes. But they're a lot easier to scapegoat because everybody knows the Ghost Valley's evil. So why not just blame it all on them? And Gao Chong decided to hold some dog bear meeting instead. And the ones that came were only small fries who wanted in on the fun. Out of the true big sects, no one showed up. So he's like, well, that's right. No one sect leader from the 8 great sects came during that time. Even the Chengming Mountain Sword Valley immortal just sent a disciple. Is Ye Bai just a disciple? Would we describe him as that? But yeah, he's like, that's why these so-called righteous sects of the martial arts world all have either ulterior motives or are no longer strong. So he frames it as, because, none of these sects came to help us when we were in trouble, that means they are either bad themselves and have ulterior motives, or they're weak, which is how he's determining it. So he's like, their schemes only grow from one to another. So you want them to band together to attack the Ghost Valley? If only for the sake of righteousness and no benefit, it wouldn't work. So he's like, if we're going to have them attack the Ghost Valley, like, are they going to be able to do that? If they're weak, that ain't going to work. If only for the sake and benefit but no righteous goals, well, that doesn't work either. We can only draw a large circle to include both the righteous and the benefit. And only then can we draw them in. So he's like, we're going to lure these righteous sects out, have them go attack the Ghost Valley, and basically have them slaughter each other. And he's like, oh no, you guys died. You want us to come help you, but no, actually not. You didn't help us, so no. So then we have the scene with Guzhong and Cao WeiNing. And of course, Guzhong, I feel like Guzhong is so tense around Cao WeiNing because she still doesn't think that she's worthy of having his affection, and she's trying to drive him away to prove a point that he doesn't actually like her, or that he shouldn't like her because she believes she's a bad person. Okay, if you don't know Attack on Titan, this will mean nothing to you, and it's not really a spoiler, but all I'll say is their relationship kind of reminds me, it's from season 1 anyway, Their relationship reminds me of season 1 of Annie and Armin and their relationship. That's what it reminds me of. There's a talk about being a good person and liking someone despite that or regardless of it. So that conversation, that dynamic kind of reminds me of that. But yeah, she's like, I'm a wild girl. We don't walk the same path. And it's like, who says you're a wild girl? I like this robe change. Hello, Wen KeXing wearing bubblegum pink and red. It's such a contrast. I know in some Asian countries, pink is actually a masculine color. I know that. I've been told that. I think in Korea especially, it's like little baby boys in Korea, or maybe it's Vietnamese. You all will have to correct me in the comments. I apologize if I'm getting that wrong, but they have pink instead of like in the US, in the Western culture, pink is usually a feminine color, but I know in Asian cultures it's not the same thing. I do like the contrast of this pink cherry blossom like robe, but beneath it is like the red robe like the ghost chief. We're not that far off, are we? Meanwhile, Zhou Zishu is like in white with the beige. I mean, looking like a pure innocent lamb. I do love his robes a lot, though. He's like, then have I become a wild person. So, Cao WeiNing and Wen KeXing have not made their conversation from the day prior known to Gu Zhang. And then he's like, okay, did you bring your sack of goods? So he makes like a joke about buying Gu Zhang. And she's like, what are you doing? And she's like, why? And he's like, you know, one gets silver, the other gets their purse and no regrets. And he's trying to pass her off, you know, and make kind of a joke about it. But of course, as one expects, she doesn't take it as a joke. And he's like, you know, you... And I feel like she knows that he wants to let her go with Cao WeiNing. She just doesn't like the way that it's happening. And he's kind of talked to both parties without the other party knowing. And so even though this is meant to be a joke, I can see why she wouldn't take it at all as that. And she's kind of upset about it. And so then he's like, you know what? Actually, don't take her for any money. And then I like that she goes up to Zhou Zishu and she says, well, stop him. And he's like, if you don't stop him, who will? Like, Zhou Zishu's the only one that can stop Wen KeXing. Love it. And he's like, she's so fierce. He's like, I'll give her to you for free. I don't want her. Hurry and take her. And he pushes her like right up to him. Poor girl. Like, it's hard enough she loves him, but then being forced upon him, like, I feel for Gu Zhang. And then Cao WeiNing, because he's so serious and stoic and a golden retriever, says, the heavens are my witness. I've never treated Ah Zhang as if she were a maid. With your favor, you've entrusted her to me. Like, this is a proposal. It's a betrothal. Like, right here and now. He says, once I've reported to my master, I'll definitely follow the tradition of dispatching 3 matchmakers for negotiation and ask for her hand in marriage with 10 streets of dowry. Like, he's proposing to her right now, saying, I will marry you, girl, and take you in. Oh, I don't dare treat her with anything less. Which she's just like, oh my God, like, this would be anybody's dream. But she's like, you don't really know me. How are you saying this? And Zhou Zishu's like, shit. Okay, he's went real with this. And Wen KeXing's like, all right. And she's like, 10 streets of dowry. Doesn't that happen when a family's daughter is getting married? Xiangling, why'd you ruin this moment? Xiangling, stupid sibling. Oh. And Zhou Zishu's like, what'd y'all expect? You embarrassed the girl. But that face of Wen KeXing being like, I'm giving away my sister. I'm giving away my little girl. Oh, the ennui, the angst, y'all, the angst. Oh, it gets me. It gets me so much. So yeah, so you can tell he feels a little bit sad about it. And then we go back to Zhao Jing, and he's like, help me make a list of devils and publicize it through the martial arts world. And the Scorpion King is like, oh, wait a minute. He's like, we're making a list of the devils, which is a list of the Ghost Valley. The Ghost Valley ghosts. And Scorpion King is like, hey, remember how you know that we've employed some of them? Like, We've got the lustful ghost is dead, but we have the happy ghost and the changing ghost. Like, they're working with us, and he's not telling Zhao Jing, but he's like, and the alluring ghost has helped me get my stuff. I don't really want her to be targeted. He's like, would we be going back on our word if we did that? And he's like, if you publicize the list of devils, isn't that blocking off their path of retreat? How do we order them around in the future? I love what he said. How he said, he was like, well, how are we going to order them around in the future? Like, how he said that was so amazing. He's just like, but how are we going to do this? And so Zhao Xing says, well, hey, even the Shaolin Temple has come out. I'm just, what, the time is right. Why would we still need these devils? We're basically getting everything we want. He's like, the wide web is ready and waiting to entrap its prey within its webs. Oh, I love how big the Scorpion King's eyes are. He looks so innocent. He's like, you still don't understand? And he goes, the Scorpion King is amazing at the whole pouting. I'm just a little Scorpion King. I don't know anything at all. Please teach me, Daddy Xing, about what I don't understand. He's like, well, sweet little Jair. And he closes the door. Like he's like letting him in on a secret from the underground. We want to destroy the Ghost Valley, but the devils are all outside, so who are we destroying then? As soon as they lose my protection and cannot move freely in the martial arts world, where do you think they will go? Back to the Ghost Valley. And then he's like, we're going to lead them to their deaths. We're going to get the Ghost Valley and the other sects that didn't help us in the past to all convene in this one location and eradicate each other. And then we'll have no enemies. And you and I can rule the world together without anything. And he's like, but if they leave and talk of our plans, he's like, who's going to believe them? Like, Zhao Jing is like, I just scapegoated these bitches. Because everybody, he's like, I've done all I can do to make the Ghost Valley look as horrible as possible. So even if they do try to go tell somebody, nobody's going to believe them. He's like, they're just the perfect scapegoats. It's the perfect crime. Nobody's going to care, and they're going to kill him anyway. And the Lustful Ghost was onto it. Back episodes ago, the Lustful Ghost was like, aren't we shooting ourselves in the foot? And the Changing Ghost and the Happy Ghost were like, nah, he'll give us protection. They'll give us all the protection. They won't double-cross us. Now they're double-crossing them. And it's like, who'da thunk? Besides, Gao Chong's alliance with the Ghost Valley was never confirmed. So, and Gao Chong's dead, so that's not going to come back and haunt me. He's like, more or less, it's negative influence on us, so we need to get rid of it. So during this time, I just want these evil devils to bite each other. Oh, and you can tell the Scorpion King is like, oh, I see how this wicked web is working. I see how this is all going down. We can then find an evil devil to corroborate us. Their motive was to divide the martial arts world. And then we were unjustly accused. And once we're cleared of blame, even eldest brother Gao Chong won't be able to see it. Oh, it's devious. Oh, it's devious. We'll lead all the sects to destroy the Ghost Valley. And I'll have power and righteousness while carrying the remorse from all the sects. And then who would they choose as their supreme leader? What? It had to be me. Devious. Devious, diabolical, makes all the sense. And Scorpion King is like, how are you so smart, father? And he's like, oh, he's got a praise kink. Just a wee bit of a praise kink. And then Scorpion King just leans into that praise kink so badly. And he's like, you know how to talk. All you do is make me happy. Bitch. He's like, how can my little tactics match with our virtuous ancestors? Oh, he is. Meanwhile, while he's thinking in his head after hearing that praise, he's like, I haven't heard anything from the Lustful Ghost. He doesn't know the Lustful Ghost is dead. Isn't that a coinky-dink? Isn't that funny? He's like, I haven't heard anything from the Lustful Ghost. So technically you, Chu Feng, is not his opponent. So has that bastard realized something is wrong and gone into hiding? Uh-huh. So he thinks that the lustful ghost might have run off after talking to you, Cho Feng. He doesn't know the Scorpion King's already killed him. Ah! That's giving such Sweeney Todd vibes! I'm here for it! He's like, right now, everyone in the martial arts world is helping me to look for them. Let's see where you can hide. Oh, what a great ending to that episode. What a freaking good ending. That was wonderful. Love, love, love. This episode was great. Loved it. I was totally here for it. I absolutely am digging this episode. It's going to be hard waiting for episode 24. I'll tell you all that now. But I'm going to wait till I get some comments. So we'll just wait and see. But man, this episode was great. Loved it. So yeah, things are going in place. Zhao Jing's being a manipulative, conniving mastermind, and Gu Zhang's getting sent away with Cao WeiNing, and Wen KeXing and Zhou Zishu are like, you guys want to go wreck shit with Zhao Jing? Heh. And Shin Shin's off to find Zhao Lian. Now, I'm assuming Changling is going with Wen KeXing and Zhou Zishu, but I guess we'll just have to see. So anyway, I'm really excited to hear your comments down below. This episode was great. A little heartbreaking, but also great. And I'm excited to see episode 24 with our dudes. So thank you all for watching with me. I hope you all have a wonderful week. Please stay safe. Take care. And yeah, I'll be back very soon with more Word of Honor.